Hello and welcome to the channel where in this video we'll talk about a feeling of deja vu. The Kabul collapse feels like deja vu to many on the internet because it is eerily similar to the collapse of Saigon back when the US troops got out of Vietnam in 1973. There is some bickering as to the speed of it, as some are saying that it is not the same because the Saigon capture by North Vietnam took a few months, while the fall of Kabul happened immediately, in fact even before the entire US and international contingent was out. The erstwhile Afghan army did not put up much of a resistance and the Afghan government came down like a pack of cards. In that context, it may be worthwhile to have a quick look at what happened back in the day in Vietnam. Here's an analyst report presented to the US Congress in February 2021, talking about the Vietnam scenario, where post-US withdrawal, the Taliban capture Kabul with alacrity. In January 1973, after years of talks, negotiators representing the United States, US-backed South Vietnam, and North Vietnam signed an agreement in Paris, France, to end the decades-long US involvement in the war. The Paris Peace Accords called for a ceasefire, the withdrawal of the remaining US troops within 60 days, a prohibition on the provision of new US military equipment to South Vietnam beyond a replacement basis, a political reconciliation commission in the South, and a demilitarized zone between the North and the South. Note that this feels eerily similar to the pact agreed between the US government and the Taliban back in 2020, which called for Taliban and its allies not attacking US assets and forces while the US prepares and executes a full withdrawal. Here's the document telling us what happened after the Paris Accord. Other than the full withdrawal of US forces, few of the provisions were implemented, as violence continued unabated on both sides. US military aid to the government of South Vietnam decreased significantly as well. In early 1975, in light of what North Vietnamese leaders perceived as a more ambivalent US attitude towards South Vietnam and reduced US military assistance, North Vietnam launched a major military offensive against the South. South Vietnamese forces withdrew from wide swaths of territory with the intention of holding important coastal areas, but withdrew from these as well in the face of the North Vietnamese advance. North Vietnamese forces took the capital Saigon on April 29, 1975, and the South Vietnamese government unconditionally surrendered the next day. Again, very similar to what has happened recently in Afghanistan. As the US withdrew, the Taliban expanded its presence and the erstwhile Afghan government proved incapable of defending itself. While the US policymakers were hoping for a strategic stalemate, that is where the government of Afghanistan was never going to militarily defeat the Taliban and the Taliban, as long as we were supporting the government of Afghanistan, was never going to militarily defeat the regime. The US government's hope that some kind of stalemate would persist at least for a few months, if not longer, clearly did not work out. As with the Vietnam case where after the withdrawal there was a mass exodus of refugees, there is a concern that something similar might pan out in Afghanistan as well, with potentially dramatic effects on the security and human rights of the Afghan people. So yeah, Vietnam in 1975 and Afghanistan in 2021 do look very similar from various different angles. So that's it for a little excursion into the familiar and well-known. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like and I'll see you in the next one.